Somewhere out there, billions of years from now, the last light will fade. The final star will flicker out. And time itself may come to a stop. But how? How does a universe, so vast, so full of energy, galaxies, and life, come to an end? In this video, we're going to follow the universe from its fiery birth to its slow and mysterious death, and explore the wild theories that scientists say could shape our ultimate fate. The heat death, where everything dissolves into darkness. The Big Rip, where space tears itself apart. The Big Crunch, a collapse back into chaos. And even, a cosmic rebirth. Each possibility is stranger than the last. Each one backed by real science. And each one forces us to ask, what does it all mean, for us? So, if you're ready to stare deep into the future, and maybe even confront your place in the cosmos, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because this is just the beginning. Prepare yourself. The end of everything begins now. The universe began with a bang. About 13.8 billion years ago, all of space, time, matter, and energy exploded into existence in what we call the Big Bang. From a hot, dense point, it expanded rapidly, unfolding space itself, cooling as it went. Galaxies formed. Stars ignited. Planets spun into being. And life, at least on one tiny world, began to ask why. But what most of us forget is that this expansion is still happening. Right now, as you listen to this, the universe is growing, faster and faster, with galaxies racing apart like cosmic fireworks. This leads us to a chilling realization. What goes up, may not come back down. And what begins, must one day end. But how? To predict the end, we first study what the universe is doing today. Thanks to powerful telescopes, scientists have discovered that not only is the universe expanding, it's accelerating. And the cause? Something strange. Something we don't understand. We call it dark energy. It makes up roughly 68% of the universe, and it's pushing space apart faster and faster. No one knows what it really is. But if it continues, it will shape the universe's fate. Gravity tries to pull everything together. Dark energy pulls everything apart. The cosmic tug-of-war is on. So, what happens next? That depends on which force wins. We are going to explore 4 mind-blowing theories. The heat death. The Big Rip. The Big Crunch. And cosmic rebirth. Each theory is terrifying. Each is backed by real physics. And each tells us something profound about our place in the cosmos. Let's dive deep into the most widely accepted theory. The heat death, slow freeze of everything. It doesn't end with fire. It doesn't end with an explosion. It ends with silence. Stillness. Cold. No screams. No light. Just nothing. This is the most accepted theory of how the universe might die. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. Heat death doesn't mean the universe burns up. In fact, it means the exact opposite. To understand it, we need to understand one key concept. Entropy. Entropy is the measure of disorder. And in physics, everything, every system, moves toward more entropy. From broken eggs, to dying stars, to entire galaxies. The universe is constantly spreading its energy out. Over time, everything becomes more disordered, more even, more useless. Eventually, the universe reaches a state called thermodynamic equilibrium. That means no more heat flows. No energy differences. Everything is the same, everywhere. When that happens, nothing can happen. No stars can shine. No engines can run. No life can live. This is the heat death of the universe. How long will it take to get there? Longer than you can imagine. Let's walk through the timeline of cosmic decay. 100 billion years from now. Galaxies beyond our local group disappear from view. The night sky empties as space expands too fast for light to reach us. 1 trillion years. Star formation stops. No new stars are born. Old stars begin to die, quietly. 100 trillion years. The degenerate era begins. Only white dwarfs, neutron stars, and black holes remain. 1 quadrillion years. White dwarfs fade completely. The last glow of the universe is gone. 10 to the power of 40 years. Protons and atoms may begin to decay. Matter itself begins to fall apart. 10 to the power of 100 years, the black hole era. Black holes, once the garbage bins of the cosmos, start to evaporate via Hawking radiation. They fizz. They fade. And then, even they, are gone. Beyond that, only radiation remains. A thin haze of particles. The universe becomes dark, cold, and still. This is the end of time as we understand it. But what about us? What about intelligent life? If some form of life survives into these late eras, if something lives near a black hole, harvesting energy, extending its existence, it will still face a final, inevitable truth. There is no escape. Every energy source will vanish. Every machine will stall. Even thoughts may no longer be possible in a universe where nothing changes. A slow freeze. A cosmic tomb. Even information, perhaps, will be erased. No records. No memory. No witness. There's something beautiful, and haunting, about this idea. The universe began with unimaginable energy, bursting outward in chaos. And will end in silence, stretched too thin to move. No more stars. No more galaxies. No more anything. Just entropy. A perfect stillness. A forever night. But this is only one theory. The next theory is far more violent. Where instead of drifting into darkness, the universe tears itself apart. The Big Rip. Imagine the sky above you. The stars, the moon, the galaxies in every direction. All of it, suddenly pulling away. Not slowly. Not quietly. But violently. Atoms rip apart. Planets shred like paper. And even the fabric of space, tears. This is not science fiction. It's a real possibility. And it's known as the Big Rip. We know the universe is expanding. Galaxies are moving away from each other. That much is certain. But in recent decades, we've discovered something even stranger. The expansion is accelerating. Something is pushing the universe apart faster and faster. We call it dark energy. And we don't understand it. Now imagine this. What if dark energy isn't constant? What if it grows stronger with time? Not just a gentle push. But a force that increases, endlessly. Eventually, it wouldn't just separate galaxies. It would rip them apart. Then stars. Then planets. Then atoms. This is the essence of the Big Rip. To visualize it, let's step forward into the future. Scientists estimate the Big Rip could occur in roughly 22 billion years. If dark energy behaves in this dangerous way, let's break down the final hour of the universe. 60 million years before the end. Galaxies begin to break free from their gravitational bonds. The Milky Way disintegrates. The stars scatter. 30 minutes before the end. Our solar system unravels. The sun is torn away from the planets. The planets themselves spiral apart. Minutes before the end. The Earth is shredded. The crust splits. The oceans boil into space. Milliseconds before the end. Molecules stretch and snap. Atoms unravel. Even the fabric of space becomes unstable. At time zero, space itself rips. Time loses meaning. Physics breaks. The universe ends. Not in silence, but in chaos. If you were somehow alive during the final seconds, you wouldn't see the stars fade. You wouldn't drift gently into darkness. You'd feel yourself stretching. Your body pulled apart. Your atoms unraveling. Reality disintegrating. There's no escape. Not in a spaceship. Not in another dimension. Because in the Big Rip, space is what's breaking. There is no away from it. This is the universe not running out of energy, but being torn by it. So, is the Big Rip going to happen? We don't know. It all depends on something called the equation of state for dark energy. A number we're still trying to measure. If it's equal to -1, the universe expands forever but gently. If it's greater than -1, expansion slows. But if it's less than -1, the rip is coming. Right now, our measurements are close to -1. But just off enough to leave the door open. And that uncertainty is terrifying. Because if dark energy is even a little bit unstable, then one day, perhaps sooner than we think, everything ends in violence. So far, we've imagined the universe drifting into cold silence. We've imagined it tearing itself apart. But what if it ends by turning around? What if gravity, quiet, patient gravity, pulls everything back? What if the universe, after expanding for billions of years, suddenly stops and begins to collapse? This is the most dramatic endings of all. The Big Crunch. When the universe collapses inward. Since the discovery of the Big Bang, scientists have wondered. Could it happen again, in reverse? The Big Crunch is the idea that the universe's expansion might one day stop. Then reverse. Instead of flying apart, galaxies would begin moving inward. Gravity, having lost the fight for so long, would finally win. Space would contract. Time would accelerate. Temperatures would rise. Galaxies, stars, planets, everything, would collapse into a single point. A mirror image of the Big Bang. A violent return to where it all began. Let's break it down. For a big crunch to occur, gravity must overpower dark energy. Or dark energy must change. Right now, dark energy pushes space apart. But what if it weakens over time? What if it's not stable? In that case, the expansion could slow. Then stop. And then reverse. Here's what that would look like. Hundreds of billions of years from now. Galaxies stop receding. They begin drifting closer together. 1 trillion years. The cosmic web begins to tangle. Clusters of galaxies crash together. 10 trillion years. Stars and planets collide. Radiation levels rise. The universe heats up again. Near the end, everything compresses into a dense, hot plasma. Even atoms can't survive. Final moment. All of space collapses into a single, infinitely hot, infinitely dense point. A singularity. The universe ends, exactly where it began. Here's where it gets even stranger. Some physicists believe the Big Crunch might not be the end. In fact, it might be the beginning, again. This theory is called the oscillating universe. The idea is simple, yet profound. The universe expands. Then contracts. Then explodes again. Endless cycles of Big Bang. Big Crunch. Big Bang. A cosmic heartbeat. A universe without beginning or end. But is it possible? Some versions of string theory suggest that energy might be preserved through the crunch. A new Big Bang could arise from the ashes of the last one. A new universe. New laws. New time. New possibilities. So, will it happen? Right now, the evidence doesn't support a big crunch. Observations show the universe's expansion is speeding up, not slowing down. Dark energy appears constant or even increasing, which makes the big crunch less likely. But physics is full of unknowns. Dark energy could change. A hidden force could reverse the expansion. The equations could shift. And so the big crunch remains a real, if fading, possibility. One last twist of the cosmic cycle. But here's one more idea, one last vision of the end. Cosmic rebirth. What if the universe doesn't just end, but is reborn? Not in cycles, but as a quantum miracle. Something deeper. Stranger. More mysterious than anything we've imagined. What if the universe doesn't truly die? What if the end is just the beginning? Over billions of years, we've watched the cosmos expand, fade, collapse, and tear apart. But now we ask a different question. Can the universe be reborn? Every ending we've seen so far, heat death, big rip, big crunch, suggests finality. But some theories challenge that idea. They suggest the universe might not have a single life, but many. One version is called the oscillating universe, where the cosmos expands and collapses over and over. A big bang followed by a big crunch, followed by another big bang. Endless cycles. Endless rebirths. But there's another idea, one stranger and more abstract. That the universe evolves. That it emerges again from something deeper. Something beyond time. Something, quantum. This is where science edges into the poetic. And we begin to ask. What really happens at the edge of existence? Let's start with a concept called the quantum bounce. In classical physics, a singularity, the infinitely dense point at the Big Bang or the end of a big crunch, is a dead end. But in quantum physics, nothing is truly certain. At the smallest scales, the laws of gravity and energy begin to blur. And some theories suggest that singularities might not be ends, but gateways. In a theory called loop quantum gravity, spacetime is made of tiny loops. And these loops resist being compressed beyond a certain limit. So, instead of collapsing forever, the universe bounces. It contracts, hits the limit, and rebounds. A new universe is born. New stars. New laws. Maybe even a new kind of time. What came before our Big Bang? Perhaps, a previous universe, now gone. And what comes after our end? Perhaps, the next. There's another possibility, one even stranger. It's called eternal inflation. After the Big Bang, the universe expanded faster than the speed of light in a burst called cosmic inflation. But some theories say this inflation never truly ended. It just slowed down in our region. Elsewhere, the inflation continues. Constantly spawning new universes. An infinite multiverse. Where each bubble is a separate cosmos with its own laws of physics. In this view, our universe isn't reborn. It's just one note in an eternal symphony. And even if our universe dies, the symphony plays on. Endings become illusions. Each death becomes a doorway. If the universe can be reborn, again and again, what does that mean for us? Are we part of a cycle we can't see? Have we lived before, in some other form? Will the universe one day give rise to something like us again? No one knows. But there's something comforting in the thought. That death is not destruction, but transformation. That even the vast, cold end of the universe might carry a seed. A single spark. A breath. waiting to ignite the next creation. Perhaps time never really ends. It simply changes shape. So far, we've watched the stars burn out. We've seen galaxies fall. We've followed the universe to its last heartbeat. But now, we ask the question no one knows how to answer. What happens after the end? Not just the end of humanity. Not the end of Earth. But the end of the cosmos itself. Is there something beyond that silence? Something outside of time, space, and matter? Or is the end truly the end? We talk about the end as if it's a point on a timeline. But if the universe ends, if time itself stops, then after has no meaning. There is no then. No ticking clock. No place to go. And yet, humans are wired to imagine more. What if time doesn't end, but simply changes form? What if existence continues in a way we can't understand, because our tools, our senses, our language, are too small? We may not be equipped to grasp what after really means. But still, we try. There's one theory that suggests something does survive the end. Information. In physics, there's a principle that information can never truly be destroyed. Not even by a black hole. Not even at the end of the universe. Every particle, every quantum interaction, every moment, leaves a trace. A record, written into the very fabric of reality. If that's true, then perhaps when the universe dies, its history remains. Not as memory, but as structure. A frozen library of all that ever was. Could that information be recovered? Could it be used to create a new universe? Or read by something, or someone, outside of time? These are questions we don't yet know how to ask, let alone answer. But the idea lingers. That the universe may forget. But not be forgotten. Now we enter the most mysterious territory of all. Consciousness. Is it a product of biology? Or something more fundamental? Some thinkers, including physicists and philosophers, wonder if consciousness might be woven into reality itself. Like space and time. If so, could it survive the end? Not you, not me. But awareness. The observer behind all things. Could the end of the universe be experienced? Could something outside of space and time witness its collapse? Its rebirth? Or its final stillness? Could the universe be a thought? A dream that ends, only to awaken again? Or perhaps there is nothing. No rebirth. No observer. No trace. A true silence. Absolute. Perfect. And final. And maybe, just maybe, that's okay. Not every story needs a sequel. Not every question needs an answer. Maybe the beauty of the universe is that it had a beginning at all. That for a brief, brilliant moment, there was something. Instead of nothing. And maybe that moment, fleeting as it was enough. You've made it to the end. Not just of this video, but of a journey that spanned eons, stars, destruction, and rebirth. Thank you for traveling with us. From the beginning of time, to its edge. If you found wonder here, if you felt something stir in the silence, then subscribe. Stay curious. Keep asking impossible questions. Because the universe may end, but wonder doesn't. This has been the end of everything. And now, we fade to black.